start the podcast. Hello. You're listening to Off the Cliff Sports, episode 13. I'm your host, Cliff Jacks. We got a full show for you today. We're going to talk Final Four. We're going to talk a little AAF football. We also have two guests for you today. We got A-Train and Mo. They're going to discuss the NFL. We're going to talk about the upcoming draft, some of the players that are coming out, and we're going to talk about why the NFL is the least paid professional sport in the U.S. Remember, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. The Instagram tag is OfftheCliff_Sports. The Twitter tag is @Cliff_Sports. And once we reach 65 followers, we have a gift card set up for Instagram and a gift card for Twitter. It's going to be a random drawing once we get up to that 65 number. So let your friends know, your co-workers, family members. Let's get to that 65 numbers because these gift cards are burning my pocket. I want to give a quick plug to Ink Fame Clothing Company. Purchased me some shirts from there the other day. You can find them at inkfameclothingcompany.com. Their slogan, express your fashion using ink and become famous doing it. Ink it up. Shout out to Ink Fame Clothing Company. Go check them out. They're on Instagram and Twitter as well. Guys, we're going to get into it. We might as well not waste any time and get right into our topics of the day. The Alliance of American Football. What is going on? The league started off with a bang, and it had some traction, it looks like. A couple weeks in, next thing you know, you hear about payroll issues and not enough money to pay your players. Even with that, which was around week 2, week 3, the league still continued to move forward, and I think the crowds was as good as expected, and you was getting TV viewership as well. So what happened? You had an owner from the Carolina Hurricanes hockey team that put in $250 million to help the league move forward, but he's come out saying, hey, we're going to stop operations this past week. What's going on? I know the league is trying to get in bed with the NFL. You can kind of tell they want to have players from the NFL practice squad and things of that nature on their rosters to give a better product. But, I mean, those guys have already made it. The guys that are playing are trying for a second chance, are trying to make it. And to be honest, I think the league's pretty good. I mean, of course, it's not the NFL. We all know that. But there's been some excitement. Some teams have had attendance issue because of things like the weather. I feel bad for Birmingham. I think all their home games have been played in rain or storms. Salt Lake City had a snowstorm for one of its games. But, hey, you can't control that in the spring. That's Mother Nature. What's really going on? What's the underlying problem that we're seeing here with the AAF? I thought it was a league that was going to at least maintain for 1 year. And next year we'll have the XFL. And then we were going to have a football war to see who can come in second place and be sustainable. But it doesn't look like the AAF is going to make it around to next year. All the teams have been posting thank you to the players and the fans. So we're going to see if they're going to have games this weekend. That'll let us know whether the league is done or there's some bluffing going on. I had a friend said he thinks all this is a big ploy. Right now, I don't know. At first, I thought the owner was bluffing a little bit, just trying to get some publicity. But right now, I don't know. I think no one wants to put the money in to keep the league afloat, which you got to spend money to make money. That's what I was always told. Let's see how this thing plays out here. Let me read you a quote from the Carolina Hurricanes owner and majority owner of the AAF. So Tom states the NFL Players Association is hamstringing the young league by refusing to loan its inexperienced NFL players. If the players union is not going to give us young players, we can't be a development league. So that statement alone tells me that Tom is trying to get his foot in the NFL door. When this league first came out, it did say it was going to be like a development league for players that want to try to prepare to try to get in the NFL or a return trip to the NFL, but not necessarily that it wanted to partner up to an extent where the NFL is giving its younger players and its players that's on the practice squad over to it. So I think when he came in and dropped the 250 million, he had other alternatives. But right now he stands to lose about 70 million if the league folds. Maybe not a good investment for this owner, but people with this type of money, they'll throw it out there, try to see if they can catch the big fish. Looks like all he's getting back is some bait. We're going to talk basketball when we come back. You're listening to Off the Cliff Sports. Your host Cliff Jacks back with you here. Don't forget Instagram followers, Twitter followers. Once we hit 65, there's a gift card coming one of your way, or two of your way once we hit it on both platforms. Final Four will be up on us Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, and it's a Final Four that most people probably did not expect, even when the tournaments start. But the teams that get hot are the teams that normally make it. The first game of the evening will be the Auburn Tigers and the Virginia Cavaliers. Virginia comes in as a number 1 seed, Auburn of number 5 seed. The negative for the War Eagles is going to be that they lost one of their key players to an ACL injury, and that could be big for them. They were able to make it through the Elite 8. He got hurt Sweet 16, but the Elite 8 game, they actually were able to make it. They have a real short, quick point guard who played very well. He controlled the floor. He got the ball up and down, and they hit shots. Virginia is a well-rounded team. They've only lost 3 games for a reason. Tough defense. They play sound ball. I think the whole key to this game is if Auburn can get that frenetic pace that they like to play at. If Bruce Pearl can get those boys to get up and down the court, I think Auburn does have a chance. But Virginia is real strong. They got some decent inside players. They got some shooters. So they are an overall team, all-around team, I should say. It's going to be interesting. I'll give you my picks at the end of the show on who I think is going to win. In the nightcap, you have the Texas Tech Red Raiders and the Michigan State Spartans. Magic Johnson got his boys to the Final Four again. Of course, Magic is always in attendance when Michigan State's in the tournament. Texas Tech is a beast on the defensive end. Those boys get after it. I've never seen a college team like them where they shrink the floor. It's like they're long. When they're in that zone defense, the floor looks really small. Michigan State has a nice, tough point guard. He's not the quickest point guard in the world, but he is very agile. He's very knowledgeable. He can see the floor, and he's a hell of a leader. So that point guard position is going to be big. Now, the Red Raiders, on the other hand, sometimes their offense gets stagnant. So they're going to have to try to keep a consistent offensive game, I think, to beat Michigan State. They're going to have to put points on the board and not just in spells. They're going to need to score throughout. If they go on too many droughts, Michigan State could go up, and their inside play is very good down there at State. So another good game. I think the score for that game, Texas Tech probably would love the score to be in the 50s. I think Michigan State would want something more in the 70s. So it's going to be whoever can really get the game to their tempo, their pace, is going to win that nightcap. But watching Constance Winston play, it's like seeing a guy, an everyday Joe or an everyday Cliff if you're me, out there playing with players he probably shouldn't be on the court with, but he has the skill and the ability to do it. He just doesn't look like that chiseled cut basketball player that's got 45-inch vertical that you think of, but his knowledge of the game makes him dangerous. And ask the Duke Blue Devils, because he did things in that game to get his team over the top. Texas Tech, on the other hand, they got some athletes. And if they can hit shots, they could definitely be in that championship game on Monday night. So we'll talk about it at the end of the show. I'll give you my picks. And you can tell me your picks by commenting on Twitter, Instagram. You can also comment on YouTube or Podbean as well. Let me know if you think I'm crazy, or let me know if you're agreeing with me. I can tell you by the time this episode aired that the Notre Dame Fighting Irish ladies beat UConn for the second straight year to get to the championship game, and they're going to take on those Baylor Bears from Waco, Texas. Cookie got her girls to the championship game again. That championship game is going to be a nice one. That game Sunday is going to be one everybody should tune in for, because that's going to be women's basketball at its finest. Everybody needs to take a look at that game. And then Monday you can get the finale with the men's game. Guys, when I come back, we're going to go to the top of the cliff. Who do you think will be the guest to come to the top of the cliff with me? You probably will never guess who I'm sending up, but you'll find out in about 10 seconds. We'll be back. Off the Cliff Sports. Thank you for listening to Off the Cliff Sports. It's time to go to the top of the cliff. Today I'm inviting good old Coach K of the Duke Blue Devils to the top of the cliff. I went back and forth on who to bring up, but Coach K ended up winning out. And it may not be for what a lot of you guys think. The Duke Blue Devils have not won a championship in 4 years, which for most teams 4 years ago when they won a title would be awesome. They still be living it up off that title. But for Duke, things are different. Coach K has put a lot of players in the NBA, lots of them. Some of them pan out to be solid players, good players. Some of them just turn out to be players. I mean, Grant Hill, I think, is one of probably the best, if you ask me, to come out of Duke. Kyrie Irving is a nice baller. There's other Shane Battier had a decent career. But anyway, Coach K, I'm inviting him to come up to the top of the cliff with me because he had a star-studded team. Or should I change that and say he had the top 3 players coming out of high school? Cam Reddish, RJ Barrett, and Zion Williamson. And throwing in Trey Jones, their point guard, as another stud. But the one thing Coach K failed to do was bring in that sharpshooter that doesn't miss. Duke had plenty of athletic ability, but Duke did not have any three-point shooters. I think Cam Reddish is supposed to have been a shooter, but he hasn't been shooting the ball all year from the games I've watched, which I watched a lot of Duke games because I love watching Zion and RJ play. But Cam Reddish isn't that dead-eye shooter that college teams need to win games. You need that one shooter, preferably 2 shooters, that if they're open, it's a 3, and you might as well go to the other end of the court. Coach K had all these studs, but he forgot to go out and get that one player that makes everyone life easier because you can't leave him. You can't play off of him. You have to be tight or he's going to knock it down. I think Coach K has started to recruit the stars, but not necessarily recruit to build out his entire team. And I believe that's starting to hurt him. Last year, his team got to the Elite Eight again. And it had Marvin Bagley Jr. and some other players, and they still didn't have that shooter they need to get over the hump. So, Coach K, I want you to come to the top of the cliff with me. I always tell people when you come to the top of the cliff, what you do when you get there, it's up to you. But because of your lack of recruiting, what your team needs to get over the hump, or in this case, get over the cliff, I want you to come up here with me. Dear Coach K, please come to the top of the cliff. Guys, when we get back, we're going to get into some NFL. I have my two guests that are going to join me for a little debating today. And you're going to hear A-Train and Mo once we get back on Off the Cliff Sports. Stay tuned for some good action. Off the Cliff Sports got a special edition for you guys today. I have two special guests on the line with us. We got Mo and we got A-Train on the line. We're going to let them debate a little bit about some NFL politics and some NFL player draft that's coming up. Based on ESPN, we got Nick Bosa as the best rated player in the upcoming draft. Do you guys agree with that? We'll start with Anthony.
You talking about like overall athlete, the best player?
He's rated the best player in the draft.
Man, no. Now he is a little bit best player. He's not the best player in the draft.
Mo, what you think about that?
I couldn't give him the best player either, just for the fact that he didn't play the majority of the year. So, if it's me, I'm going with Quentin Williams. He was unblockable. He was a beast.
Roll Tide.
See, and that was going to be my player that I picked, so I ain't trying to agree with you. But Williams, I mean, he played three, he can play regular, he can play in. That's the most versatile. So to me, he's better than Bosa. Even if Bosa played though, because he's versatile. Bosa, he's not that versatile.
Now I think Ed Oliver should be up there with Mr. Williams, but the fact that he played at little old Houston, he's not getting the pub.
Nah, if you would say Ed Oliver his freshman year, I've been with you. But Ed Oliver's his play them went down each year since his freshman year. Now that may be because of the coaching and for the fact that he was in Houston. I mean, talent wise, he was balling his first year, but I wouldn't put him up there.
That first year, they also was like 12-1, wasn't it? So they were in the spotlight.
I understand, but I can't base it off. If that's the case, then I got to put Nick Bosa. I'll probably put Nick Bosa number one. We're gonna go off the entirety of college career because Nick Bosa is a beast. I just didn't put him number one because he didn't play most of this year. But Nick Bosa is the real deal.
Yeah, he's the real deal, but Williams played his whole career still productive. So I would still put him ahead. And I'll even put Brandon Jacobs ahead of Bosa if we talk about overall average. Not really.
But I'll say you, in today's NFL, I take Nick Bosa before Williams.
You got to rush the passer. And his brother's in the league, so everybody think he's going to be just as good as his brother.
He might be better than his brother, bro.
Yeah, I mean, he's so impressive.
He's slick with it.
Yeah, he's more complete coming out of college than his brother was.
So, my next question for y'all. We got two linebackers. Josh Allen out of Kentucky, Devin White out of LSU. Who you going with? Josh Allen was all over the field, though.
I get that. Yeah. He was all over the field. Yeah. If we talking about total career, college-wise?
We talk about going to the NFL and who gonna make an impact.
Well, I guess it depends on what you want once again, because I mean those are two different style linebackers. You want somebody gonna sack the quarterback, or you want somebody gonna be the leader of defense and lead the tackle.
With it being a passing league, you need some versatility.
I mean, both of them give you some versatility, though.
Right. Because, Devin White, he's not going to have high sack numbers. That's not what he's for.
Right.
I mean, and Josh Allen's not going to have a lot of tackles because that's not what he's for. I mean, like I said, it depends on what your team needs.
So you
it's
think
completely different.
So you think Josh Allen's going to get moved to DN if he's on the right team?
No, I said he'll be a rush. A 3-4 team is most likely going to draft Josh Allen. The teams that run the 4-3 probably not going to draft Josh Allen. He's a pure rusher. He's in that I can't believe it. What's my boy from Denver? Your boy.
Von Miller?
Yeah.
How can you not remember that name?
Hey, bro, it's been a long day, but yeah, he's Von Miller. I don't know if he's quick off the ball, no, but that's the mode he's gonna be in.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can see Von Miller type.
So y'all don't think Joey Bosa's gonna be a Von Miller type?
No.
To me, he's more of a 4. Yeah, he's more of a 4-3 linebacker. I mean, DN to me, he could play 3-4 and be that rush, but I see him more with his hands on the ground, rush. But he could do the 3-4, but I think he's a 4-3 defensive end.
Yeah, he can play the run better than Von.
Yeah, definitely. He complete D line.
All right, so the last draft question for y'all. Let's get into this topic. We got a 5'5" quarterback who everyone is saying gonna be the top pick in the draft.
5'10", man. They measured him 5'10".
5'5". Hey, I've been in the same stadium with this man before, and I ain't seeing no 5'10".
Hey, he played like he's 6'1".
So, do both y'all agree that?
There's negatives about him that you can say is his size, but other than that, he's pretty complete.
That's it.
So both of y'all agree that both of y'all think, I'm not going to say agree, both of y'all think that Kyler Murray is going to be a NFL caliber quarterback.
Yeah.
In the right system.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be the right. I mean, now I ain't trying to compare him to RP3, but if he gets thrown into a situation like that, I can see how that can go south. I don't know how his mental toughness is, so I don't know how he would handle that, but I can see that going south real fast. So that's the bad thing about it. He does get pick number 1. He's not going to be protected. He's going to get touched. The D linemen are way quicker in small spaces than college, so he's going to get touched. So I don't know how that's going to work out.
So you do see him matching what Russell Wilson did for Seattle.
Come on, that's not fair. Russell Wilson was playing with the Legion of Boom. That's the defense ran that team.
Yeah, but Russell is a solid quarterback, so do you think he can be that same solid quarterback? Russell's not great, but he's a good quarterback.
Kyler Murray, he's better than solid.
Oh.
He solidified that against Alabama. Because if you remember Alabama game, beginning of the game, he was getting murdered. He was getting murdered after that.
Yeah, the game was over after those first 3 drives. You're right.
We ain't looking at the score. I'm talking about looking at his play. He was getting killed. They adjusted. He made some adjustments, and as the game went on, he played better. So if you're watching him as a quarterback and rating him, he played better.
And I agree with that because after he settled down, he was the best player on that field.
Ooh.
When he played Alabama, that told me he could play in the NFL. After he settled down, Alabama had nothing for him. He was the best player on that field. The only thing that saved Alabama was Oklahoma's defense was so trash. They couldn't stop him. They could not stop Cal Murray. So
I'm gonna let y'all have that. Okay, let's go with this. I'm gonna go with you first, Mo. Do you think he's better than Dwayne Haskins for the NFL, not their college season, but going into the NFL?
Yes, 100%. Because Dwayne Haskins, in my opinion, he's a front-running quarterback. If you hit Dwayne Haskins, if you hit him, he get rattled quick, and he won't. If you watch the TCU game, if TCU didn't mess up, they would have beat Ohio State. If they didn't have them turnovers, Dwayne Haskins played so bad when they was hit. If you hit Dwayne Haskins, you'll get him out of the game. So to me, he can be rattled. I don't see composure in him. Yeah, if you give him a clean pocket, you're in trouble. But if you hit him, he gonna give you the ball. I promise you.
So A-Train, what you think about that?
That's what I was gonna say. If he doesn't have a perfect environment, which is unrealistic on any NFL team, he's not gonna. He can't play to his best ability. Now he can be productive in the league, yes, but if he gets touched, his body's out of it. Like he's shown us, he can't get back in the game. So for that, I would say he's not better.
So do y'all think he should be in the top 15, top 20?
He has the tools. He has the tools. But the question is, and that's something I guess you can't really judge because you don't know how they're gonna grow. Is that can he build that mental toughness? He don't have it.
Yeah, I still would say that. If you need a quarterback, I would definitely still take him because just like that man said, he got the tools. Now, as far as he can make all throws. He can make every throw. It's just the head you got to get to him. So people develop different as they grow. So, but that's gonna be the challenge.
Jamarcus Russell had the tools too. You see how that turned out.
Man, Jamarcus Russell.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Come on, man.
Just saying. All right. So, with y'all saying that about Mr. Haskins, would you rather pick Drew Lock then instead of Haskins, the second quarterback off the board?
No, Haskins not the quarterback.
Anthony, you think the same thing, A-Train?
I mean, their offense he's playing though. I wouldn't.
He played in the SEC though, the best conference in college.
That wasn't a very versatile offense though, so he didn't really show me much.
Okay.
So I wouldn't.
Man,
he's Haskins. He's showing you that he has the full toolkit. Looking at it, I wouldn't pick Lock over there. So.
All right, so y'all saying Dwayne Haskins is in the same mode as Teddy Bridgewater. He can throw it, but he's shaky in the pocket when he get hit. That's what I heard from you guys.
Oh, hold on. Ain't nobody saying about Teddy, man. Teddy ain't shaky.
Yes, Teddy Bridgewater in the pocket is shaky when he get hit. We all know that. That's why he's not a starting quarterback right now.
That's not why he's not a starting quarterback.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Totally. Because even though he got injured, if he came back and they felt he was that guy, he had been a quarterback.
Man, Teddy, no, he's not. He never shown me shape in the pocket.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about Teddy today.
Now, he can make the best decisions sometimes, but that doesn't equal. He's not shaky. He's not jittery with the ball. I would say, what's his name in basketball right now? Rookie. That's shaky in the pocket.
Who you talking about?
What's the rookie name?
Are you talking about Trae Young?
No, Louisville.
I don't know who you talking about.
What's his name?
Josh Allen for the Bills.
No, for the Ravens.
Oh, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. That's shaky.
Well, that's not shaky. That's when the team won't give you plays to run. They give you 3 plays.
When they make experience in the playoffs, ball in his head, he got a chance to put all this to rest. What did he do? Fumble the ball 2 times in a row.
Hey.
Because he's very sure of himself.
Hey, but I love Josh Jackson, but it's gonna take him a while. He ain't taking hits. He believes he can get. He like, why am I taking this hit when I can run? So until he learns to look down that barrel, yeah, he is shaking. You hit Mr. Jackson too many times, he's taking off, bro.
Well, I think if you give him an offensive playbook and stop trying to make him act like he's an idiot. I mean, at Louisville, you can't deny he ran plays. Petrino has an offense.
No, he didn't. No, Petrino don't got no offense. Petrino say everybody go deep.
Petrino runs a pro offense.
That was a well-designed run hand option with some vertical route thrown in.
Yeah, please stop with Petrino got an offense.
His first year under Petrino was, oh God, they hating on Bobby.
It's the truth.
Yeah, hating on Bobby. We're going to get off this topic, though. We're going to get off this topic and we're going to move to the next topic. All right, so the next topic I got from O and A Train today, we're going to talk about why does the NFL make less money than the other three major professional leagues in the United States? So I have an article that I pulled up from Open Doors, and the average salary for the major sports, this is from 2015-16. The average NBA salary was 4.9. Major League Baseball 3.8, NHL 2.5, and then the NFL comes in at 2 mil. I don't understand. Can you guys tell me why? Let's go with Mo first.
Man, I could talk about this all night.
Well, we're not gonna do all night, but we're gonna talk about it though.
I know. But the two major reasons is because the owners are greedy, and the NFL has the weakest player union out of any major sport, so they allow themselves to get screwed over. Point blank, simple as that, man.
Anthony?
So, I agree with that. And also, if you're looking at the numbers, so we're going to stick with the money, with the greedy money. So the owners in these sports, as you were mentioning those stats, the roster size will get bigger and bigger with each sport. So then the owners and the people who are getting the big bucks, they're gonna get less and less money in their pocket. So these other sports, they can afford to get away with making more money to the players, so they still getting money. When you're in the NFL, they're not gonna let them go out their pocket, man. They're gonna keep their money, so the players gotta make a little bit less. And they're gonna argue with the careers are shorter, the sports rivalry, which is crap. Because like I said, like Mo said, the union is so damn weak. They will buckle for any little deal that's made kind of their way. Like with the last lockout. They didn't get nothing accomplished because they got all these other issues.
So
getting suspended for little to nothing, like
to me it sounds like the players need to start saying, hey, I don't like our union representatives, and we need to start changing those people out.
Nah, what needs to happen is, I think it's 2022 when this CBA come up, they gotta lock out. They gotta start. We talking about size of rosters because that's what a lot of people think about. Like, yeah, there's 60 players on the roster, 54.
No, it's 53, but only 45 get to dress out, which is the stupidest thing I ever heard of. But hey.
Oh, check this out, right? And NBA is what? How many can be on the bench on the NBA?
You got 12.
Okay. Yeah, there's more players. But if you go look annually what the NBA makes, what MLB makes, what NFL makes, it's not even close.
Not even close.
NFL makes $15 billion a year. NBA makes like 9, and then Major League Baseball is second with like 10 or 11.
And hockey ain't even close.
We're talking about millions. We're talking about billions. They make $15 billion. So even with that amount of players, they can still give the players way more money than they're giving them. It's just because they're keeping all the money for themselves. The players got to understand this. If you want to give them shorter contracts, fine. Because I understand the longevity of your play is not going to be as long necessarily as an NBA player or this type of player. But they can give them more money up front. They can guarantee them more money. They can make big contracts. You got NBA players now about to make $48 million a year. Aaron Rodgers is the best. Can only make $33 million a year. Get out of here.
Russell Westbrook just signed for $240 million.
That's a real big issue that you just hit on. The structure of the contract in the NFL is so trash because they do it that way so they can have you by your neck in case they want to just automatically go another way. So they can hold up a lot of their money, get other people and more players, and it's the way it's structured. There's not much guarantee. So people hear these numbers on TV, and they're making they got signed for $100 million. Player only make out with 30 of it.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
Can y'all tell me when did we wise up to realize the contracts? Because only the last 3 to 5 years we really paid attention to the guaranteed money. Because I remember back in the day, they said, oh, this guy may have a $60 million contract. I'd be like, whoa. But really, he didn't have but a $20 million contract.
I didn't because I only looked at the bonus money because that's the only thing guaranteed. I've been on the player side for holding out. I don't ever care if a player holds out because everybody wants it to go one way. They'd be like, respect your contract. I can't stand Bill Polian. He's so, I'm not even going to.
Bill Polian?
Yeah, Bill Polian.
Oh, you talking about the one that's crashed the AAF league?
Yeah, that one. He always talking about you got to respect your contract. You sign a contract. You only want the players to respect the contract, but you don't ever tell the teams to respect the contract that they gave the players. That's why I don't care when a player hold out. Get your money, man. The NFL is dirty. Get your money. I love what AD did. Go get your money because they're going to use you up and spit you out. The fans going to use you up and spit you out. Get your money.
I have to admit, I used to say, come on, you signed the contract, so you need to go ahead and do what's right. I did used to say that, but I do agree now because football is a dangerous sport, hands down. And the Players Association got to do something to make these contracts guaranteed. Because if they just do that one thing, I think it'll be enough for the players to say, hey, let's go with it.
But not just guaranteed. The players need a bigger chunk of the pie. Aaron Rodgers, the best quarterback in the NFL, only making $33 million.
Wait. I don't know if he's the best quarterback anymore. Let's keep going though. But you know,
I'm wrong for even saying that because I think Tom Brady's the best quarterback in the NFL. Real talk, he the GOAT. But
he got 6.
I'm just saying, consider one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He's making $33 million. Your salary should be comparable to the top of any sport. Period.
And I think
they have the money. They're just not giving it. NFL got the money, man.
How much cut do the players? Do the players get 49%, or do they not even get that much?
They don't get that. Depends on how it's negotiated. 49%. That's real. 49% is high. I don't think there's anybody that got 49%.
Well, I'm talking about like of the revenue. Don't the players get that? Oh, that's the NBA.
The NBA is crazy.
Yeah, in the NFL.
Yeah, you mean the player revenue? The player revenue to the owner revenue?
Yeah.
Yeah, the NBA get almost like they get a high because it was on the radio one day. They get a high 40%. They get like 47-48% of the revenue.
Yeah. So
yeah.
A-Train, what would you do? What's one thing you would do on this upcoming bargaining to better the situation?
They gotta give more guaranteed money, man. That's the bottom line. They gotta figure out a way to get more guaranteed money. But see, the downside of that, so the owners are gonna be like, well, if y'all want more money, then we gotta play more games, which I still think is stupid. I mean, that's cool for a fan. I mean, if you want to see trash football towards, in March, because they're gonna be all beat up, but they deserve more money.
I like an 18-game season. I don't have a problem with an 18-game season, but we got to get rid of Thursday night football. Thursday night football is the worst thing in sports.
And if you have an 18-game season, Sunday, Thursday, and Monday gonna look like Thursday night football for those last 3 weeks. It's gonna look trash. Because this is before they even get into the playoffs. Like, bro, no.
I think if they add another bye, you can get away with it. My thing is the top players, like the top players in the NBA, in the MLB, they set what the market is. So when it's time for this contract negotiation, they can't cross the picket line. They gotta stay and say, nah, we demand high contracts. They have to leave because they be like, I'm getting my money, and they cross. The top players can't cross. The pro bowlers, the all pros, they gotta say, nah, we're not crossing. But it's up to them because there's a whole bunch of money they missing out on.
So,
and the owners don't keep taking it.
Is that what you say, Mo, is the thing that you would need to see in the next bargaining chip? The top players go ahead and say, hey, we're going to sit out with y'all?
That's what I need to see. The top players got to take ownership. That's what happened in the NBA with LeBron and KD and all these top players. And in the MLB, you can't even take lists.
Hey, you know what?
We don't get no discounts. We don't get no discounts.
I'm trying to find me 2 orphan kids right now that are boys, because we giving out $100 million contracts to everybody right now, and I want my $100 million too.
With the NBA and the MLB, man, those players, man, they come together when they need crunch time, man. Not just the players who thousandaires. Like you said, it's a big money maker. In the NFL, it's not that way. It's not that way. It's like it's 2 sides, man. You got I ain't feel this way, but you got, brothers, and then you got who understand a little bit of a struggle and a cause. They want to do it. Then you kind of got the good old boys, and you got the country boys.
Hey, it was okay. Hey, on my show, you could say what you feel. You could have went on and said you got the white quarterbacks and you got the black players. It's okay if you say that.
Right, 'cause I mean, it's the same thing with this million and not million thing. There's not going to be a cohesive way for them to do it. If they all actually do it, then mountains will move in themselves. But they all have to be down to do it. You can't be relying on people who barely making the team. They getting $200,000 signing bonuses. Nobody care about them. They can go. You know what I'm saying? They could.
Hands down. I am disappointed at both of y'all, though. Neither one of y'all said we got to get rid of that franchise tag. That is ridiculous.
I don't care about the franchise tag.
No,
that
that has to go. You got to stop holding players hostage. If they sign a 4-year contract, they sign a 4-year contract. Year 5, they can do what they please.
You can't franchise them till after their contract over with anyway.
But you can franchise them for 3 years. I mean, it worked out for Mr. Cousins because he made a lot of money.
He made a lot of money. I mean, yes. I mean, that's on the players. They can do better on that. But to me, it's a bigger chunk of money they missing. The franchise. Hey, guess what? If you get a bigger chunk of money and it's $45 million, ain't too many people gonna want to franchise you when the average salary is $45 million. They got to give you $40 million.
Well, I agree with that, but the way it's structured now, like that Cowboy player, DeMarcus Lawrence, I mean, I think for them he's worth more than $20 million. But hey, they got to decide what they want to do. But if he get hurt, he signed that franchise for that 1 year, and he get hurt, where he could have went and signed a multi-year deal and got more money.
Well, what's the point of the multi-year deal if you still being undervalued as a player? I
Hey.
mean, I don't mind the franchise, but I think they just need a bigger piece of the pie at the end of the day.
And that's true.
They say, fine, we want franchise, you no more, but still underpaid.
I don't understand how they live with it.
They guarantee money, so the contract gonna look bigger on paper, but when it's taken home.
And I don't even mind. Go ahead and make it a shorter contract. Make it a 3-year guaranteed contract. Earn your money. That's fine, but give me the right pay.
They better start listening to their NBA brethren, because the NBA players done took over and they done decided, hey, this is how we gonna do things. And it's flipping the whole NBA around, because those players are saying, I want to play with this guy. I'm only gonna sign 2 years. And
the NBA
working out.
They understand unity. NFL players don't understand that. That's why it's never going to happen.
Well, somebody might want to educate them on how they losing money in a more dangerous sports.
And that's why, like I said, the biggest thing, they can't do much right now, but when the CBA is up, they get to make their point by not settling. And I know they talk about Goodell and his powers, and you need to worry about that and the marijuana rules and this, that, but your number one thing better be getting the bigger cut of that pie, because the NFL is making billions. It's not close. If you go look at the revenue, it's not close. With their 16-game schedule, they're blowing out everybody. It's not close.
Yeah, they getting
NFL is in everybody else.
Yep, they getting money. They probably making almost as much as the other 3 put together.
Yeah, seriously, they are.
Now,
only a 16-game season. Baseball, how many games they have?
162 of them.
162?
81 at home, 81 on the road.
So if you cut their season down to 16, you got how much they make.
Well, we got one guy making $430, so I don't even understand how they calculated that much money to give to one man.
Right.
We'll get that draft money.
Hey, and from what I heard, Canada offered to sell him the whole country. They offered to sell the whole country, and he was like, he thinking about it.
Hey, man, that draft money good.
Tell you, must be not. Hey, that tells you how much money Walt Disney got.
Shit, that to tell you how bad a boy Mike Trout is. Because they know by the time he's 37, 38 years old, he's going to be old and trash. And they still willing to say that man 35 million a year at that age.
They're going to move him to first base. All right, so before we get out of here, I'm going to give both of y'all picks. We got the Final Four. We got Texas Tech and who Texas Tech playing? Michigan State. And then we got on the other side, Virginia. Who is it? Virginia and Auburn. That's what it is.
I still can't even got in.
Hey. So who y'all got going to the championship and winning it all?
Okay, I guess I'll go first. Well, my bracket had North Carolina, Michigan State, and North Carolina beating them. Auburn kind of messed that up. So I'm going to stick with Michigan State getting to the finals, like I predicted. And whoever they play, they're going to win. So we're going to, if they play, it don't matter. I got Michigan State winning it all. I'll say it'll be Michigan State versus Virginia, and it'll be a defensive game, probably 52-47 Michigan State.
A-Train, who you got?
Now, I think Virginia going to beat the hell out of Auburn.
Ooh, disrespect.
I'm not even trying to disrespect Auburn.
Disrespect.
How they got there with Virginia's head and shoulders above. So I think I think it's going to start out looking good. But
whoa. Hey.
Virginia's going to be there. Now, my mother-in-law would kill me because she's a Michigan State alum. I don't go against them. I'm going to pick Texas Tech.
Oh, God.
Texas ain't something different. So I'm going to say Texas Tech, Virginia's going to end up there. Virginia's going to beat Texas Tech.
Okay, Mo, I didn't tell you before we started that Anthony was a player at North Texas, so I forgot to tell you. He a Texas boy, so that's why you see how his picks going.
Hey, I transferred to Texas from Navarro. And it was at the time the program was not too well, so they started taking the field time in last move.
All y'all ex-football. Oh, and A-Train Mo played for Lamar High School in Arlington, Texas, too. He's supposed to have a name up on the board or something for something back in the day. But he like 10 years older than you, so you know how that is.
Well, you 10 years older than me, too.
I know. That's what I know.
First of all, you the oldest one on this phone while you talking.
I'm not going to give y'all my picks. I'm going to do that later on in the show. I'll give my picks.
I'm going to tell these listeners since you're trying to reveal age. Y'all know that Cliff.
Yeah, they do.
They deal at work today.
Yeah.
I turning the corner. That tells his age right there.
Hey, you ain't got to tell my business like that, sir. But I don't like the disrespect you giving Charles Barkley and those War Eagles because they hot right now. And the hot teams in the tournament.
Not Charles Barkley Boys.
I honestly got a feeling because you got that Southern in you, so you know you always got this Arkansas love, so you know Arkansas family. I know you're gonna have that upset. I know you're gonna have Auburn. I know you can't help yourself.
Hey, it's very possible, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
I feel like you're gonna have Auburn winning. That's my feeling.
Your feelings probably are wrong, cause. I mean, them boys down there from Lubbock, them boys serious down there in Lubbock, Texas. I ain't gonna even lie, them boys kind of nasty.
Hey, that's why I said I can see them actually winning that game.
Cause I see them boys, number 23, he probably gonna be a top 10 pick, I think. He's pretty nice.
I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that I picked Michigan State to be in the finals in my bracket, I'm tempted to go Texas Tech because I remember when they played Duke early in this year. They gave Duke a run for their money. They almost beat Duke. So, the boys are legit.
Well, I definitely appreciate y'all time. We're going to go on, and I got a more show to do. I'm going to bring y'all on again because I think the fans going to like what they hear. So, I appreciate Mo's time. I appreciate A-Train's time. We're going to be back on Off the Cliff Sports in a minute. Stay tuned. I had two awesome guests on Off the Cliff Sports for you guys. I appreciate their time. I definitely want to do that again. I'll go ahead first and give you guys my picks before we get into quick takes for the Final Four. I'm going to go with Auburn in an upset over Virginia. I think they got hot at the right time, and they're hitting the three ball at a high rate. I picked them for the upset in a pretty high scoring game. We'll say 82 to 75. The Auburn Tigers will go to the championship game. On the other side of the bracket, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick another upset, Texas Tech over Michigan State, because of their defense. I think their defense is going to keep Cassius out the lane, and I think that could limit some of the productivity of the big men for Michigan State. So I'm going to go with Texas Tech in a low-scoring game, 66 to 62. So you'll have the Red Raiders out the Big 12 against the SEC's Auburn Tigers for the championship. And I'm going to go with the first-timer, Coach Beard and the Texas Tech Red Raiders, to hoist the national championship trophy because of that way that defense plays. I think the defense is going to win a title this year. It's not going to necessarily be all about offense this year. And we're going to go with Texas Tech. A lot of times in the Final Four, the background of a lot of these big, huge stadiums cause the shooters to have to adjust, and it gives the defense a little small advantage. So we're going to ride with the Red Raiders to win it all. There you have it. Now we'll get into quick takes for this week, episode 13 of Off the Cliff Sports. First thing I want to tell you, the Masters start up April the 11th through the 14th. It's time for us to start watching Tiger to see if Tiger can get that Masters he's been chasing for a while. I think he's relatively healthy again, and this year he's going to win one of these big majors, and it'll be great if it's the Masters to put himself back in the talk of being the best of all time, which a lot of us already think he is. So April 11th through the 14th, have your phones out, have your TV on, and watch some Masters from Augusta, Georgia. Next topic of the day, the National Hockey League playoffs is about to start. All the teams have about one game left, but the playoff teams pretty much have been set. The top teams in the Eastern Conference is the Tampa Bay Lightning, and followed behind them is the actual Boston Bruins. Those two teams may be meeting up in the Eastern Conference Finals, but you never know in hockey. The Pittsburgh Penguins are in the playoff as well, and they have Sid the Kid on their team, who I still think is the best player in hockey, so I give them a leg up just because of that. And the defending champs, the Washington Capitals, are in the playoffs as well, out the East, so they're trying to defend their crown. On the Western side, the team that I support because I live in Dallas, the Dallas Stars, was able to get one of those wild card spots. I don't think they're going to do a lot with it, though, because they're going to end up probably playing Nashville or Calgary, and both of those teams are really strong. You also have the St. Louis Blues making the playoffs again, and the team I like their name the best, the Winnipeg Jets, are in the playoff. The expansion team from last year, who did get to the Stanley Cup Finals, Las Vegas, they actually returned to the playoffs again this year, so 2 years in a row. A lot of real hockey people told me they pretty much was given a star-studded team to start with. I have to go by what they say. All I do is watch a little bit, try to look for that little black putt. Most of the time, I don't see it until it's already in the net. And I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all are the same way. Love watching the fights, though. That's hockey for you. In the NBA, the playoffs are going to start in about a week from now. And in the Western Conference, we know what 8 teams there are. We're just getting the seeding together now. So these last games are all about seeding, except for the team that I think are going to sweep the playoffs, the Golden State Warriors. I'm not a Warriors fan because they have Kevin Durant on their team. If they didn't have Kevin Durant, I would definitely be cheering for Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. I like the Splash Brothers. But Maybe those OKC Thunder can upset them boys. I would love to see Russell Wilson get the better of Golden State. I'm sorry, Russell Westbrook get the better of Golden State. My bad, Russell, if you're out there listening. In the East, you have the Orlando Magic, the Miami Heat, the Brooklyn Nets, the Detroit Pistons, all fighting for those final 3 playoff spots. It's going to be an interesting last 3 games for those teams. I think one of them have 2 games though. I would love to see Dwayne Wade get a last ride in the playoffs. Maybe he can get some magic and get his team a couple wins in the first round. I'm still thinking that Toronto's coming out the East. Milwaukee's tough though, and a lot of people are even saying Philadelphia, but when you got a point guard that can't shoot the 3-pointer, that's all I'm going to say. You got a point guard that can't shoot a 3-pointer. NBA, and he can't shoot. He's a good player, but he got to learn how. He has to start attempting to shoot. He don't even attempt 3-pointers, and I have a problem with that. If you're going to be the leader of the team, so there you have it. Also, this week on Sunday, for you guys that like sports entertainment, WrestleMania 35 is in New York City. Just FYI. And if you purchase the WWE Network for $9.99 a month, you'll get it for free. Just FYI. If any of their producers or anybody are listening, just a little plug. Hey, I'm available if you need me. All right, guys, when we come back, we're going to get the quote of the day, and I'm going to get you out of here because we did have a kind of long episode thanks to our guests. But, hey, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Cliff Jacks, Off the Cliff Sports. Give me 20 seconds and we'll be back with you. Cliff Jacks back. It's been a great episode. I appreciate you guys dearly. Please share the episodes with others. Let's get this listenership up. Get it to the numbers so we can start doing some bigger and better things with this podcast. Today's quote, I decided, let's just make it all around. We asked him to come to the top of the cliff, so let's give him the quote of the day. Our quote today is going to come from Mike Krzyzewski, head coach of the Duke Blue Devils. FYI, I am not a Blue Devil fan at all. I just like Zion and RJ. I want to put that out there. But Coach K states this: imagination has a great deal to do with winning. Simple as that. That's the quote. Imagination has a great deal to do with winning. From Coach K. Guys, it was great. I know it's a longer episode, but I hope you enjoy it because it was action-packed. Remember, every week we drop a new episode. I thank you for your time. I'm your host, Cliff Jacks. You've been listening to Off the Cliff Sports. It's time for us to get out of here. Peace.